Chapter 5b. Sarah. This is getting out of hand. We're running out of time. And with war on the certainty, I don't know if we'll be able to escape. There's just so many problems with it. How do we escape without ending up like a dead body? How do we fake our own deaths in the middle of a war that we're going to be definitely very close to Dalen for it? This is getting out of hand. We have to think of something. 8 then pointed at my cloak, the cloak of blinding. Maybe that could work. But it's very risky. And it's not big enough for 2 people. One person can get out, no problem, but 2 people at once, that's impossible. It's just not big enough for 2 people. I began to think of multiple things, trying to figure out what was going on. Then, I heard something. A war horn. It was loud, like it was coming from inside the castle. I ran to the great hall alongside 8 to try and figure out what was going on. I saw Dalen sitting on his throne, laughing. Oh, okay. So he wants to play that game, huh? Everyone, to your battle stations. We're going to war. That was fast. I walked over and asked, "What was that?" What that was, my little girl, was the war horn of the hunters. They blow it whenever they're ready to march to war. It demands that all hunters return to Huntsman's Keep. And now they're on their way here to fight us. Prepare 8 and yourself for a battle. We have a week before they come. But a week? Why wait a week? Why not strike now? Meet them halfway. We have the advantage. They do not. I do not want to lose that advantage. 8 then looked at me with a worrying expression. We can't see each other to continue to devise a plan. But then he thought of something. He grabbed my shoulder and we started running. We ran over to the dungeon and it all clicked. Of course, the hunter. We help her escape, she helps us escape. And then we go our separate ways. I told 8. We walked down the steps very carefully. We did not want to draw any more attention than we already had. Every step was like our hearts. Exaggerated. Extreme. We walked down the flights of steps in the dark, dark room. If you could even call it a room. It was so dark that not light could ever escape it. And we were right in the heart of the beast. We continued to walk down the steps. Then we saw the hunter. She was laying there on the ground with a stab wound. 8 realized what he did. And he pointed at me to go first. I walked over and said, "Greetings." She looked at us and said, "What do you want? Can't you see I'm already dead?" Well, if your heart's still beating, then you're not dead just yet. Come on. We're going to devise a plan to get us all out of here. And why would I buy that? Shh. Quiet. We don't want to alert the rest of the castle. Dalen's hearing is impressive, but only to loud noises, okay? We cannot allow us to be heard. Because if we are, then it's already over. All 3 of us are dead. don't know if you know this, but your partner stabbed me in the leg. How am I to trust that? Abe looked down in shame, and he looked back up. I don't know if you can trust him, but trust me, he does. The reason he stabbed you in the leg was because I ordered him to do so. I had to make it look like Dalen was still in control, so that when we leave, he'll be blindsided. So you had him stab me in the leg. Huh, that's something I never thought I'd see as gratefulness. Listen, if we let you go, will you promise to take us with you wherever you go? We want to get out of this castle. Yeah, I don't see it in it for me. We help you escape. Then what? Huntsman's Keep is going to be leaderless. They're all going to die. Eight walked up to her, and for the first time, he finally spoke. He said in a deep, calming voice, "Never give up hope." This was the first time I'd ever heard him say anything, and it was amazing. Then he said, I'm not afraid of Dalen. Not anymore. Now my question is, are you still afraid? She nodded. Then he said, I'm going to cause a distraction, okay? Then, after that is said and done, we all escape. What distraction are you talking about, 8? One that will get us out of here. One that will possibly cost me greatly. But, if it works, we may yet survive. I followed him. I didn't know what he was planning, and I didn't know if I liked him. We walked over to Dalen's chamber. And then he said, listen, what I'm about to do is probably going to get us both killed, or at least me. I'm going to charge in there. And when I yell, you will pay for what you've done, you burst in and stop me from what I'm about to do. Okay? I heard him yell, you're going to pay for what you've done. And I ran in. It was already being lifted up by the throat by Dalen. And he said, Ah, good to see you, my darling. Take this one to Dr. Vazoon. Vazoon? But isn't he the one that does the procedure? Yes. Tell him he has another subject for the procedure. The procedure. Something I feared. Something that I didn't even think 8 could do. 8 was too reckless, but I knew him. He wasn't going to do something like this unless he knew what he was getting himself into. But this time, he simply didn't. He didn't know what he was doing. I cuffed him and we started walking all the way down the hall. Then he said, this is part of my plan. Do you have any idea what you just did? You doomed yourself. I said, what do you mean? The procedure is a fate worse than death. Any who survive are never right again. And I'm saying that in the best way I can imagine. Because there is no great way of saying it. There is only pain. You are going to suffer a great deal of pain long before your death. Is this part of your plan? Well, at least he thinks I'm a traitor now. He thinks that you're a traitor. But we both know the truth. He probably doesn't think that. He probably thinks that you're just defective. And he'll probably try to fix it through the procedure, okay? This is dangerous. This is bad. I don't think you understand what kind of danger we're currently in, okay? Please, just don't do anything reckless while we're gone. Don't do anything stupid, okay? When the war starts, I'm going to try and escape. Meet me in the courtyard 30 minutes before the battle, 30 minutes after the battle has begun. Saying it almost as if trying to correct himself. After that is done, we escape, okay? They'll be too preoccupied with the battle, and they'll presume I'm dead, okay? Let's get out of here. Because there's no way any of us could survive. Like you said, the procedure is a fate worse than death. I'll be in more pain than imaginable, which means that I'll lose a lot of blood, which means I will probably die. But if we move fast enough, that shouldn't be a problem. And then after the battle, well, after we escape, then we grab the hunter and we leave permanently. And we never come back here again. He said it confidently. I wish I could share his confidence, but I can't. This is reckless, arrogant, and just stupid. But it's the only plan we have. The only one that will work. I nodded. Then I said, whatever happens, just know I love you. He nodded and said, whatever happens, know that you were the greatest thing that ever happened to me. At least I think. Then I opened the door. Vizoon, the doctor, the mad scientist, opened it. He was a wrinkly old man with light gray hair and goggles for eyes. His eyelids were destroyed years ago, so he used goggles to keep them wet. He wore a black suit and tie, a white shirt, and he greeted me. Well, what do we have here? Sarah, 8. What is the festivity? I pushed him in, saying, you have a new subject for the procedure. Oh, is that true? Well, Mr. 8, let's get this over with. I'm fairly certain you're just as excited as I am. Are you? He said, I'll never let you win. You will die. Oh, such confidence. Yeah, but it's wasted. I'm not gonna die. Not anytime soon. So, good luck with